Welcome back to Easy English Talk Podcast.
You check social media for 5 minutes. Suddenly you feel worse about yourself. Someone has a better job, a nicer home, or a perfect vacation photo. Welcome to Easy English Talk Podcast. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Priya. It's great to have you here with us today.
Today, we're discussing how to stop comparing yourself to others. This problem affects millions of people every single day. It creates stress, sadness, and doubt.
That's so true. We live in a world where comparison happens constantly. Every time we go online, we see highlights from other people's lives. It's hard not to measure ourselves against them.
Exactly. And here's what we want to give you today. We'll explain why comparison happens, why it hurts you, and most importantly, how to break free from it. You'll walk away with real strategies you can use right now.
So, if you've ever felt like you're not good enough because of what others have, stay with us. This conversation will help you see things differently. We're going to change the way you think about this.
Let's start by understanding the problem itself. Why do we compare ourselves to others in the first place? It seems so automatic.
It actually is automatic. Our brains are wired to compare. Thousands of years ago, humans survived by watching others in their group. If someone found food or safety, you needed to notice and learn from them.
So comparison was a survival tool back then. But now, we're not comparing ourselves to 10 people in our village. We're comparing ourselves to millions of people online.
Exactly. Social media changed everything. We see the best moments from everyone's life all day long. Weddings, promotions, vacations, perfect meals. But we don't see the struggles behind those moments.
That's the dangerous part, isn't it? We compare our real life with all its mess and problems to someone else's highlight reel. That's not a fair comparison at all.
Not fair at all, and it creates a cycle. The more we compare, the worse we feel. The worse we feel, the more we scroll and compare again. It becomes a habit.
I think many people don't realize how much damage this does. It's not just feeling a little sad for a few minutes. It actually affects your mental health deeply.
Absolutely. Constant comparison leads to anxiety and depression. You start believing you're not successful enough, not attractive enough, not happy enough. Your confidence disappears bit by bit.
And it steals your joy from your own achievements. Let's say you get a promotion at work. You should feel proud. But if you compare it to someone who got a bigger promotion, suddenly your success feels small.
That's such a sad reality. Comparison turns even good moments into disappointments. You can't enjoy what you have because you're too busy looking at what others have. Life becomes a competition you can never win.
So we've established that comparison is a huge problem. It's natural, but it's also destructive in modern life. Now let's talk about solutions. How do we actually stop doing this?
The first step is awareness. You need to catch yourself in the act of comparing. Notice when it happens and what triggers it.
Can you give an example of what that looks like? How would someone practice this awareness in real life?
Sure. Let's say you're scrolling through social media. You see a friend's vacation photos and suddenly feel unhappy about your own life. That's the moment. Pause right there and say to yourself, I'm comparing myself right now.
Just naming it makes a difference. I guess it brings the automatic behavior into your conscious mind.
Exactly. Once you're aware, you have a choice. You can continue scrolling and feeling worse, or you can stop, close the app, and do something else. Awareness gives you power over the habit.
That makes sense. But I think people need more than just awareness. What's the next step after you recognize you're comparing yourself?
The next step is to question the comparison itself. Ask yourself, am I seeing the full picture here? Do I know what this person sacrificed or struggled with to get where they are?
Right, because we almost never see the full story. Someone might have a beautiful home, but they work 80 hours a week and never see their family. You don't want that trade-off.
Exactly. Or someone looks successful online, but they're actually stressed and unhappy. You're comparing your real, complex life to an image that isn't even real. It's like comparing yourself to a movie character.
I like that analogy. It's fake, not real life. So questioning the comparison helps you see it's not worth the mental energy.
Yes. And here's another powerful question to ask yourself. What am I gaining by comparing myself right now? The answer is usually nothing. You're just making yourself feel bad.
That's a tough question, but it's honest. If comparing doesn't help you, why keep doing it? There's no benefit at all.
None. And once you realize that, it becomes easier to let go. You start seeing comparison as a waste of time and emotional energy. You'd rather spend that energy on your own growth.
Speaking of your own growth, let's talk about focus. I think one of the best ways to stop comparing is to focus on your own progress instead of other people's lives.
Absolutely. This is a game changer. Instead of looking at what others have, look at how far you've come. Compare yourself today to yourself last year.
That's a much healthier comparison. You're competing with your past self, not with strangers who have completely different lives and goals.
Right. And when you do this, you actually see your progress clearly. Maybe you're healthier than you were last year. Maybe you learned a new skill. Maybe you're kinder or more patient. Those things matter.
But what if someone feels like they haven't made much progress? What if they look back and feel like they're in the same place?
Then they need to look closer. Progress isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's small. Maybe you handled a difficult situation better this year. Maybe you made one good decision that will help you later.
So, even tiny progress counts. It's better to move slowly forward than to stand still comparing yourself to others.
Exactly. And here's the thing about focusing on your own progress. It gives you a sense of control. You can't control what others achieve, but you can control your own effort and direction.
That's empowering. You take back control of your happiness. Instead of letting someone else's success determine how you feel, you decide based on your own journey.
Yes, and that brings us to another important solution. You need to define success for yourself, not based on society's definition or social media's definition.
This is huge. I think many people chase goals they don't even want. They want them because everyone else seems to want them. A big house, a fancy car, a certain job title.
Exactly. But those things might not make you happy. Maybe your version of success is having time for your hobbies. Maybe it's helping others. Maybe it's traveling or spending time with family.
So, success is personal. It's not one size fits all. What works for someone else might not work for you.
Right. And when you define success on your own terms, comparison loses its power. You're not trying to match someone else's life anymore. You're building the life you actually want.
How does someone figure out what success means to them? It sounds simple, but I think many people struggle with this.
It starts with asking yourself deep questions. What makes me feel fulfilled? What do I value most? What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail?
Those are good questions. They force you to think beyond what society tells you to want.
Yes, and once you answer them honestly, you create your own path. You stop looking left and right at what others are doing. You just move forward on your own unique journey.
I love that. Your own unique journey. Now let's talk about something practical. How do you handle social media? Should you just delete it completely?
That's one option, but it's not the only one. Some people do better by taking breaks from social media. Others limit their time. You have to find what works for you.
But if someone wants to keep using social media, how do they use it without falling into the comparison trap? Because it's designed to make you compare yourself.
True, the algorithm shows you content that triggers emotions, but you can take control. First, unfollow or mute accounts that make you feel bad. If someone's posts always make you compare, you don't need to see them.
That's simple but effective. Curate your feed so it supports you instead of hurting you.
Exactly. Follow accounts that inspire you, educate you, or make you laugh. Follow people who share real struggles, not just perfect moments. That changes the experience completely.
And I think time limits matter too. Even if your feed is positive, spending 3 hours a day scrolling isn't healthy.
Absolutely. Set boundaries. Maybe you check social media once in the morning and once in the evening, or maybe you avoid it before bed. Protect your mental space.
Good advice. Now, here's another angle I want to explore. What about gratitude? How does being grateful help you stop comparing yourself?
Gratitude is incredibly powerful against comparison. When you focus on what you already have, you stop obsessing over what you lack. It shifts your mindset completely.
Can you explain that shift a little more? How does gratitude change the way you see your life?
Sure, comparison makes you focus on gaps. You see what's missing. But gratitude makes you focus on abundance. You see what's already present and valuable in your life.
So it's about perspective. Two people can have the same life, but one feels poor because they compare, and the other feels rich because they practice gratitude.
Exactly. Gratitude doesn't mean you stop growing or wanting more. It just means you appreciate where you are right now while you work toward where you want to be.
How can someone practice gratitude daily? I know it's popular advice, but what does it actually look like?
One simple method is keeping a gratitude journal. Every night, write down 3 things you're thankful for. They can be small: a good meal, a kind message, a sunny day.
Small things add up. Over time, you train your brain to notice the good instead of only seeing what's missing.
Yes. And you can also practice gratitude in the moment. When you catch yourself comparing, pause and list 3 things you're grateful for right then. It interrupts the negative pattern.
I like that technique. It's quick and practical. You replace a negative thought with a positive one immediately.
Exactly. And over time, gratitude becomes automatic. You naturally start appreciating your life more and comparing yourself less.
Now, let's talk about something that might be uncomfortable. Sometimes we compare ourselves because we're insecure. How do you work on building real confidence?
That's a great question. Confidence is the antidote to comparison. When you truly believe in your own worth, other people's achievements don't threaten you.
But building confidence isn't easy, especially if you've spent years comparing yourself. Where does someone even start?
Start by recognizing your strengths. Everyone has skills, qualities, or experiences that make them valuable. Write them down. Be honest about what you're good at.
I think people often dismiss their own strengths. They think, oh, that's not special, or anyone can do that. But that's not true.
Right. Your strengths are real, even if they seem ordinary to you. Maybe you're a good listener. Maybe you're creative. Maybe you're reliable. Those things matter.
And building confidence also means taking action, doesn't it? You can't just think your way into confidence.
Exactly. Confidence comes from doing things, even when you're scared. Each time you try something new, learn a skill, or face a challenge, you prove to yourself that you're capable.
So action builds evidence. You're not just telling yourself you're confident, you're showing yourself through real experiences.
Yes, and that evidence is powerful. It's much stronger than any compliment someone else gives you. You know deep down that you can handle challenges because you've done it before.
What about failure? People often lose confidence when they fail. How do you maintain confidence even when things don't go well?
You reframe failure as learning. Everyone fails. The most successful people in the world have failed many times. Failure doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you tried something difficult.
So failure is part of growth. It's not evidence that you're worse than others. It's evidence that you're brave enough to try.
Exactly. And when you stop seeing failure as shameful, you stop comparing your failures to other people's successes. You understand that everyone has setbacks. You just don't always see them.
That's a healthier way to view it. Now, I want to talk about something related. Celebrating other people's success. How does that help you stop comparing?
This might sound counterintuitive, but celebrating others actually helps you. When you genuinely feel happy for someone else's success, you break the comparison habit.
How so? Doesn't seeing their success remind you of what you don't have? That's usually when comparison kicks in.
It can, but only if you're in a competitive mindset. If you believe there's only limited success to go around, someone else winning feels like you're losing. But that's not true.
Right. Life isn't a zero-sum game. Someone else's success doesn't take away from your potential success.
Exactly. There's enough success for everyone. When you truly believe that, you can celebrate others without feeling threatened. In fact, their success can inspire you.
So instead of thinking, why do they have that and I don't, you think, if they can do it, maybe I can too. That's a complete mindset shift.
Yes, and here's another benefit of celebrating others. It makes you a more positive person. people want to be around you. You build better relationships. That actually helps you succeed more.
So jealousy and comparison isolate you, but celebration connects you. That's powerful.
It really is. And connection is one of the most important parts of a happy life. When you're connected to others in a healthy way, you feel fulfilled. You don't need to compare because you're not competing.
Let's talk about something practical now. What if someone is surrounded by people who constantly compare themselves or compare you to others? How do you handle that environment?
That's tough. Sometimes the people around you reinforce comparison culture. Maybe your family asks why you're not as successful as your sibling. Maybe your friends only talk about achievements and possessions.
Those situations are hard because you can't control other people, but you can control your response, right?
Exactly. First, set boundaries. If someone constantly makes comparisons, you can politely but firmly say, "I'd rather not talk about that." Or you can change the subject.
And if they keep doing it, some people don't respect boundaries easily.
Then you might need to limit your time with them. It sounds harsh, but protecting your mental health is important. You don't owe anyone access to you if they consistently make you feel bad.
That's fair. Surround yourself with people who support you. Find friends who celebrate your progress instead of comparing you to others.
Yes, the people you spend time with shape your mindset. If you're around people who are grateful, positive, and focused on growth, you'll naturally adopt those qualities too.
So your environment matters. You can work on yourself all you want, but if you're constantly in a toxic environment, it's much harder.
Absolutely. Create an environment that supports the person you want to become. That includes the people you see, the content you consume, and even the places you spend time.
Now, let's talk about long-term strategies. Everything we've discussed so far helps, but how do you make this a permanent change? How do you stop comparing yourself for good?
It takes consistent practice. You have to make new habits and stick with them. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen if you're patient.
What habits specifically should people focus on? Let's give them a clear list they can actually use.
First, practice daily awareness. Every day, notice when you compare yourself. Just observe it without judgment. This keeps you conscious of the pattern.
Okay, daily awareness. What's next? Give me the second habit.
Second, track your own progress weekly. Every week, write down one thing you improved, learned, or accomplished. It doesn't have to be big, just one thing.
So you're building evidence of your own growth. You're creating a record that proves you're moving forward.
Exactly. Third, practice gratitude daily. We talked about this earlier. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every evening. Make it a ritual.
Daily gratitude. Got it. What's the fourth habit? Keep them coming.
Fourth, limit social media to specific times. Don't scroll mindlessly throughout the day. Set 2 or 3 times when you check it and stick to that schedule.
That prevents the constant comparison loop. You're not exposing yourself to triggers all day long.
Right. And fifth, celebrate one person's success each week. Find someone who achieved something and genuinely congratulate them. Train yourself to feel happy for others.
I like that. It's proactive. You're not just avoiding comparison, you're actively building the opposite mindset.
Exactly. And finally, the 6th habit is this. Spend time each week doing something you love, just for yourself, not to impress anyone, just because it makes you happy.
That's important. Reconnect with what brings you joy, not what looks good to others, but what genuinely fulfills you.
Yes, these 6 habits together create a strong foundation. If you practice them consistently for a few months, comparison will have much less power over you.
Let's talk about one more thing before we wrap up. What about professional comparison? Comparing your career to others. That's a big one for many people.
Career comparison is especially painful because it feels so important. We tie our identity and worth to our jobs, so when someone else gets promoted or earns more, it hits hard.
How do you stop comparing your career to others? It seems harder because you often work directly with the people you're comparing yourself to.
First, remember that everyone's career path is different. Some people start fast and plateau. Others start slow and accelerate later. Timing is different for everyone.
So just because someone is ahead of you right now doesn't mean they'll always be ahead. And it doesn't mean you're behind.
Exactly. You're on your own timeline. Second, focus on learning and growth, not just titles or money. If you're learning valuable skills, you're making progress, even if it doesn't look impressive yet.
That's a good point. Skills compound over time. What you learn now will pay off later, even if it's not obvious today.
Right. And third, define what career success means to you personally. Maybe it's not about climbing the ladder. Maybe it's about flexibility, creativity, or impact. Honor your own definition.
So it comes back to personal values again. You can't stop comparing until you know what you actually want.
Exactly. And finally, remember that you don't know the full story of anyone's career. That person with the impressive title might be miserable. They might have sacrificed their health or relationships. You don't want their entire life, just the one piece you can see.
Right. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel again. It's the same principle we talked about earlier, just applied to careers.
Yes, and once you internalize that truth, career comparison becomes easier to let go of. You focus on your own path, your own growth, your own definition of success.
This has been such a valuable conversation. Let's bring it all to bear now. What's the core message you want people to take away from this discussion?
The core message is this. Comparison steals your joy and your progress. It makes you focus on what others have instead of building what you want. It's a habit you can break.
And breaking it requires awareness, intention, and practice. You have to notice when you compare, question why you're doing it, and redirect your focus to your own journey.
Yes. Focus on your own progress, define success on your own terms, and practice gratitude. Those three things alone will transform how you see yourself and your life.
And remember, you're not in competition with anyone except who you were yesterday. The only comparison that matters is how far you've come on your own path.
Exactly. Your journey is unique, your timing is unique, your definition of success is unique. Honor that instead of trying to copy someone else's life.
Well said. I hope this conversation has given you real tools you can use starting today. Comparison is a hard habit to break, but it's absolutely possible.
And when you do break it, you'll feel lighter. You'll enjoy your life more. You'll celebrate your own wins. You'll genuinely be happy for others. That's freedom.
That is freedom. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We truly appreciate you spending this time with us.
If this conversation helped you, we'd love for you to explore more episodes. We have many other topics that can support your personal growth and help you live with more clarity and confidence.
You can find episodes on building better habits, managing stress, improving relationships, and so much more. Whatever challenge you're facing, we've probably discussed it. Check out our other episodes and find the ones that speak to you.
Thank you again for being here. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care of yourself.
Take care, and remember, your journey is your own. See you next time on Easy English Talk Podcast.